I prefer writing in third person, but I do prefer limited. I'm not as skilled at the more omniscient kind of point of view, so I like to stick with that. And for me, I don't know, third, there's just something about it when I'm writing that allows me to kind of remove myself and so I can focus a little bit on the character's emotions, but I don't know, first person to me I get too in the weeds with the emotions. So just from a technical standpoint, I find it's third limited is the best for me. So that's just kind of what I tend towards. And then in terms of Lysa, her point of view, like I said, it started out with Alderic, and then for a little bit it was dual POV between the two of them. But in terms of, dissemination of information, the surprises that I wanted along the way, I decided to stick with Lysa's solely. I did a lot of fun research on blacksmithing. I went to the Renaissance Fair and I harassed the blacksmiths for a while, which was really fun. So in the book, she makes a sword, but I do reference a couple of her other weapons that she uses to kill other monsters, other hounds, they're called. So she uses a double-headed axe. I think that was the one to kill the serpent. She mentions using like a spear for one of them. So each creature has its own weapon. And so for the beast, it's a sword because the sword to me always seemed like a pretty intimate death. And so for her, this is extremely personal. And so she's going to have to get up close to it, and stick a sword into it. In terms of just fighting skill, she's a badass. So she's nervous because it's the thing that she's wanted to kill forever, and so she wants to make sure she can kill it. And the magical weapons, there's a chance that they could fail. So I would say in terms of trepidation at first, that's what she's most concerned about is if they don't have all of the right ingredients, which they determine what ingredients they need through magic, through a spell that her witch friend does. But if she gets any piece of it wrong, then the sword might not kill the beast, and the beast could potentially kill her first, and then she wouldn't get her revenge. So at first, that's her main like, oh shit, is this gonna work? But then as she and Alderic are traveling together, it becomes a lot of their friendship and she's willing to in the beginning of the book she's willing to die to avenge her brother, and that starts to change as she begins to become friends with Alderic. So then later the trepidation is also, can I go through with this? The banter was my favorite part, and I definitely, when I first was orchestrating everything, the intention was for there to be some romance, very light romance. I'm not really like good at writing heavy romance. But the intention was for there to be some light romance, but it just didn't work for them, for those characters, because Lysa felt so much more likely to punch Alderic in the face than to become romantically inclined towards him. So once I realized that about their characters, it became clear to me that writing of platonic friendship, I had a lot to say about that friendship can be just as powerful in terms of breaking a fairy tale curse and etc. Than as a romantic relationship. And then yeah, definitely banter. It's my favorite thing to write ever. So writing their little scenes together, even when they're just, shopping, it was really fun.